We've got an update on Genie Plus and how well it's selling. There's more news on the Downtown Disney update. Bob Chapek lays out his 3 pillars of success. And we got bananas. All coming up next on Fresh Baked. Hey Fresh Baked, thanks for joining us for another update on news around the Disney parks. Let's talk first about Genie Plus. The holidays are over. Parks are back to their regular selves. Well, crowds are reduced, so there's no extra push for guests to purchase Lightning Lane, which makes this a good time to start looking at how Genie Plus is actually doing. Is it selling? Are guests interested? And so far, the best way that we have found to measure this is by looking at the return times for Lightning Lane. So let's say it's 2:50 p.m., and the return time for Big Thunder is 3 o'clock, just 10 minutes from now. That means that there are plenty of reservations available for Lightning Lane. Hence, demand is low. If, however, it's 2:50 p.m. and the return time is for 5 p.m., 2 hours and 10 minutes from now, then demand is certainly a lot higher. There are fewer reservations available. It's getting pushed out. Demand is high. And if they are not available, then that means they're sold out. That means demand has reached its peak. There is no, you've sold all the possible Lightning Lanes you could for that particular attraction. Let's take a look at what happened on Sunday. When I look, this capture is from 3 p.m. on Sunday, the 9th, a reasonable enough time frame, in my opinion, from which to observe even the crowd that has to go to work or go to school on Monday is likely still in the park. Standby for Big Thunder, as we were just talking about, is almost an hour with a 1:55 return time, or in 20 minutes. This means that guests are choosing to get in line, standby, rather than getting a Lightning Lane. Buzz is a walk-on with nobody using Lightning Lane at the return time of now. Last day for Haunted Mansion, right? Modest demand and a reasonable wait of 45 minutes. Same can be said for Indiana Jones. People are pretty much over Small World Holiday, it looks like. It's a walk-on with no demand for Lightning Lane. By the way, the park isn't busy in general. If you can see here, Jungle Cruise is just 20 minutes, so it's a slow day at the park. Damn. Smuggler's Run is a walk-on. People, again, would rather get in line for Roger Rabbit than get in a Lightning Lane. Look at that return time compared to the standby. Even Space Mountain is showing low demand with a return time of just 30 minutes from now. And again, what we should be seeing for a ride like Space Mountain is a return time of, an hour or more, hour and a half, 2 hours even. Space Mountain is generally a high demand attraction for Lightning Lane in general. And then finally, a relatively low wait of 75 minutes for Rise, with Lightning Lane available in just over an hour. We'll take a look at DCA. Goofy Sky School is nope. But check out Mission Breakout, 145 minutes, but a return time in just 30 minutes for Lightning Lane. The long wait and standby is undoubtedly due to one or more of the elevators going down. But in spite of that, guests are still getting in the standby queue of 145 minutes rather than purchasing a Lightning Lane. There's some, but not a lot. With 145 minutes, you should see the Mission Breakout return time getting pushed out for more than an hour. Easily, you should. Incredicoaster, not so much. Monsters, Inc. is fascinating. Again, with a wait time that is not commensurate with the ride's, value, I guess. The wait time shouldn't be longer than it is for Incredicoaster, or near as long as Radiator Springs, which also is not selling, it appears, on this day. But check out Soarin'. Hour plus standby and return time in 2 hours. A standby wait that is near as long as Rise of the Resistance, and a return time twice as long for Lightning Lane. This is a difficult one to process, but the best way that I can think of it is that of all the attractions at Disneyland, Soarin' is perhaps the slowest loader. They've got limited number of theaters, as it were, ride vehicles, and you have to wait for the entire show to finish. It's what, a 10-minute show or something like that? You got to wait for the load, the show, and then the unload before you can put in the next batch of guests. So it's terrible throughput. One of the lowest capacity attractions in the park. I don't know the numbers off the top of my head, but it wouldn't surprise me if it's the lowest capacity attraction. So that goes a long way towards telling you why the wait is so long there. But it is still also a very popular attraction. The waits compete. The waits compete at Soarin' with Radiator Springs Racers. It's wild. And then finally, there's Web Slingers, a longish wait, 85 minutes, but again, no wait for Lightning Lane. All of this leads me to the conclusion that on this day, albeit one in January. On this day, guests were not interested in buying Genie Plus. Again, in observing wait times for non-Lightning Lane attractions, we could see that this is not a particularly busy day. So that does factor in as well. Fun though, let's take a look at how things are going at Walt Disney World on this same Sunday, plus 3 hours though. We measured this at the same time here, but it's plus 3 hours in Florida, so something around 4:45 p.m. Big Thunder return time for Lightning Lane is about 2 hours. Haunted Mansion return for Lightning Lane in 90 minutes. Mad Tea Party, Magic Carpet Ride, Winnie the Pooh. Man, they got way too many Lightning Lanes. Okay. Space Mountain is an individual Lightning Lane at Walt Disney World. At Epcot, Ratatouille is sold out. Looks like Test Track is sold out as well. Not much interest in Runaway Railway at Hollywood Studios. Slinky Dog Dash is sold out, as is Rise of the Resistance and Flight of Passage at Animal Kingdom. So like Disneyland, while there were a lot of attractions that had very short waits, there were also many attractions that were sold out, both regular Lightning Lanes that were part of Genie Plus and the individual paid Lightning Lanes like Rise of the Resistance. Something that we never see here at Disneyland. I think I've seen it maybe once or twice, and definitely it was just Rise here at Disneyland that ever sold out. And obviously the conclusion that you could draw from this is that there is more demand for Genie Plus, more demand for individual Lightning Lanes at Walt Disney World. Small sample size, obviously this is just a one-time comparison that we're doing right now, but it is something to watch out for, and it doesn't take a huge leap of logic to understand why. The guests at Walt Disney World are different from the guests at Disneyland. Walt Disney World guests are more willing to pay for Genie Plus, more willing to pay for individual Lightning Lane than they are here at Disneyland. And many will tell you that is because a greater percentage of the guests at Florida are coming in from out of town, out of state, out of country. In some cases, they're pot committed to their day at Disney World, whereas a larger percentage of guests here at California are locals and they're just visiting casually. They are not committed to hitting a bunch of attractions. They could take it or leave it. There's not as much interest in paying for a shorter wait here in California. Again, small sample size, but it's worth looking into. It's worth following. That's the data that we have so far. Next, we've got an update on what's happening with the renovations at Downtown Disney. We've already got an update from the information that we published a few days ago with respect to the monorail and some of the closures that are happening at Downtown Disney. And that it was closing most likely so that they could start doing the demo of the AMC Theater. The monorail track runs right next to the AMC Theater. This latter part appears to be correct. We've been able to confirm that tree removal that we saw is in fact sort of the opening movements of doing the demo of the AMC Theater, and is what's likely to be sort of a year-long effort to renovate that part of Downtown Disney. But along the way, we've also got updates on 2 more closures, and these are permanent. They're expected. We knew this was going to happen, but they are permanent. On January 24th, both the Earl of Sandwich and Sugarboo and Company will be closed. Earl's and Sugarboo will not be returning, along with the AMC Theater. This entire structure, which it's all connected, will be demolished. And this is now the second time that Earl of Sandwich will be closing in Downtown Disney. The first time it was scheduled to be closed was part of that whole, when they were going to build that brand new big hotel in Downtown Disney in that space. This, along with the AMC Theater, ESPN Zone, Sugarboo and Starbucks Express, obviously, and the Rainforest Cafe. All those others stayed closed. Actually, the Rainforest Cafe was turned into the Star Wars Trading Post, but all the other buildings stayed closed. But Earl of Sandwich, they decided to reopen that again. I guess they never did do the demo internally, so they were able to reopen it again. And now, Earl of Sandwich is closing again, but this time, I think it's going to stick because, as we mentioned, they've already begun the demo of the larger property, so this is a done deal. But stay tuned to Fresh Bake because we're going to be making regular trips on the monorail for as long as we can, until February 14th at least, to follow that updates, to follow the demo progress in Downtown Disney, and then hopefully we'll find some way to be able to track that progress as it happens over the next year or so. Okay, next, in something of a State of Disney address, CEO Bob Chapek has laid out his 3 pillars of success for the Disney company for the next century: storytelling excellence, innovation, and a relentless focus on the audience. Now, without getting too deep into the meaning of these 3 pillars, or to get into sort of commentary, as it were, well, a little bit of commentary, there's a few observations that I want to make. We'll skip storytelling excellence because that's a given. That's something that Disney's been good at forever, is telling stories. So I don't think that they're going to be doing anything different in that regard. They're great at telling stories. But his innovation pillar did include one very interesting and specific reference, the metaverse. You might have heard recently that Disney received a patent for a piece of technology, a virtual reality technology that appears to be pointed directly at the metaverse. And if you're wondering, actually, I'll backtrack. If you're wondering what the metaverse is, I can't really describe it myself because I'm too simple in that regard, but Google Facebook metaverse and you'll get a few answers there. And then note that it sounds like Disney is trying to get into that business. They want to get into the metaverse business. I don't know what this is going to look like with regard to Disney or Disneyland specifically, but it does sound like Disney is preparing to give us a new way to consume both Disney product, and this includes the metaverse thing that they're working on, the virtual reality tech that they're working on, does include a way to virtually experience Disneyland, as I understand it. And then there's his third pillar, which is the relentless focus on the audience. Here he observes that, Disney is a big company, lots of constituents, lots of stakeholders, but the number one priority, the number one in all of this is the consumer. The only thing that I want to add to this is that I hope he means it, because this will not be the first time that he or somebody else in the Disney company has said something like this and then acted differently, not with the consumer in mind. Kind of like when they say that Disneyland cast members are, the most important part of the show. And it's a thing that they say, but then they don't really kind of follow that up backstage. Anyway, without getting too far into that commentary, because this is not the time or place, I do want to say it does look like they have observed, more so today than they have in the past, that the consumer, the guest, we're the ones that are making the decisions. On this, as it pertains to Disneyland, stay tuned, because I do think in the coming months, we are going to be seeing some changes at the parks that are going to be they are an effect of what's happening today, the decisions, the actions that guests are making in the parks today and with the Disney company in general, that the changes that we're going to be seeing in a few months, I believe. I don't know anything. I just have a hunch. It's my bet, a theory or whatever, that we're going to be seeing changes in the parks in the next couple of months. And with that, finally, we've got bananas. Yeah, it's been a running joke here at Fresh Baked, albeit a small one with a very narrow audience of people who are in on it. But yeah, frozen bananas are returning to the Disney parks, at least for now, it sounds like. There are some specialty frozen bananas heading to Clarabelle's at California Adventure, according to the Disney Parks Twitter feed. Chocolate-dipped bananas covered in rainbow sprinkles, Mickey confetti, crushed peanuts, or crushed waffle cone. And they arrived on Monday, so they're in the parks now. No word yet on if this is permanent or temporary, but rest assured, the next time that we're in California Adventure, we're going to get one to celebrate. And with that, thank you guys very much for watching. Be sure to follow us on Instagram at _FreshBaked, on Twitter at FreshBakedDisney, that's fresh with no E, and on TikTok at FreshBakedDisney. If you like our show and want to show your support, please do consider joining our Patreon campaign at patreon.com/freshbaked. Otherwise, thanks again for watching, everybody. We love you very much. Be safe out there. Be kind to one another. And Fresh Baked